Ann Kershaw here. Thought I'd come to you from my office today for something different. I was about to set my phone up and I bumped my computer awake and I thought, oh, I'll come somewhere a bit more set up. So I've just been out for a walk with the dog and I'd been replying to someone helping them to do with a question to do with cod liver oil, and I thought, well, it's a good time for me to come and talk to you guys about cod liver oil. So a lot of people, especially sort of my age and older, have been put through the paces of cod liver oil back when they were a kid, especially if they got sick or anything. It was the first line of boosting someone. Well, there was something they definitely did right. Now, back in the original sourcing of cod liver oil, it was just oil extracted from cod and nothing else added. In this day and age, unfortunately, there's often a lot more other stuff added. Now, one of the biggest benefits to cod liver oil that you may not be aware of is that it's rich in vitamin A. There's different fish oils and things, omega-3s and DHAs and all these different components that are thrown around in the media and sort of popular vocabulary. Most people don't really know what that means, and I'm not going to delve into those today, to be honest, because I don't focus on them myself anyway. But the important part that I do focus on is retinol. So vitamin A or retinol in the pre-formed version, ready to go, it's something that our body needs, and it actually needs quite a bit of it. And most of us have led a lifestyle where we haven't had it throughout our lives. When I look back, I've probably had really minimal retinol through the first 35 years or more of my life. And not through any fault of my parents or anything. I was a picky eater, and the common narrative through my childhood was fats are bad. So there was no butter. I didn't like eggs. I wasn't a big fish eater either, and dairy wasn't my friend as far as it would give me migraines and stuff. So I really just didn't actually eat a lot of the big sources for it. But what I've come to realize is cod liver oil is a really superb. Oh, look, you can get a cameo visit from Daffy. Hey, Daff. You get a lot of retinol from cod liver oil in a form that we can use straight away. So the preformed retinol. Now, lots of us eat vitamin A rich vegetables or fruit. The challenge is that's often beta carotene is the form that it comes in, and that actually requires multiple stages of conversion in order to use it. And most of us don't have enough mineral support and mineral baseline to be able to do that conversion well. And there's actually a proportion of the population which just don't convert it well anyway from a genetics point of view. So a lot of us sit at a low level of retinol or vitamin A all the time, and we need that retinol to be able to help us do heaps of metabolic processes. So many. It's involved in helping us make vitamin D. It's involved in a lot of production of energy. It's involved in a lot of natural antihistamine production in the body. Massive range of things. So it's one of these things that I highly recommend as a great source to consider. Now, a lot of people will go, but I'm not drinking fishy oil. Fair enough, get that. So I started off with my kids on capsules, once they could take capsules. And a few years ago, this product was launched. Oh, let me go backwards. There we go. So this is a Jigsaw cod liver oil product. And these are soft caps. And so my kids actually started to use those as their first port of call. And we used to use another product that was a liquid form, and they would have it. It wasn't strong fishy taste and all that sort of thing. They would have it, but the challenge was getting them to remember to have it. And especially as my teenagers now get themselves ready for school, I need an easy option and a convenient option. So the soft caps, they actually are built up to have 4 of these per day now, and sometimes I'll do more. Interestingly, my eldest daughter, one of the twins, she stops getting blood noses if she gets enough cod liver oil. A lot of people are worried about cod liver oil because it's said to be naturally a blood thinner. But in my experience, both with my own family and with clients, it's actually more likely to help the body regulate itself. So it can help with regulating clotting rather than stopping it from clotting and having thinning effect. it may help to make the blood more smooth, more fluid, so to speak, but not in a you're going to suddenly bleed out form. Now, of course, if you've got an underlying health condition, you need to be aware of that. And I'm not saying to just arbitrarily go and take cod liver oil without doing your own investigation. But a lot of people will find that it will make a big difference to their health in ways that they didn't expect by introducing it. So if you don't like the fishy taste, this is one option. And if you want better bang for your buck, then there's, having to reverse things, a liquid version. So this is a newer product from Jigsaw. It's an Alaskan cod liver oil. And so there's nothing added to these. And that's something that I just love to emphasize. And if you've got any questions about cod liver oil or anything that I'm talking about, please feel free to ask it in the chat. So, this is a newer release product, but they don't have anything in it except for a lemon flavor. Now, it actually says natural lemon flavor, as in it's from a lemon. And they don't put anything else in there. You don't want it synthetically fortified with vitamin D. You don't need extra vitamin D. And if that's something that challenges your understanding, feel free to comment and I can link you to some resources, because there's extensive research out there. You don't want to have synthetic vitamin D introduced to your body. It adds so much metabolic distress to your body in the long run. Those who say that you need to supplement with vitamin D in order to have immune support and all the rest of it, there's so much misinformation out there at the moment. But I'm not going to divert off that today. So this actually tastes pretty good. This is what my husband and I use for the most part. We just have an equivalent of about, I don't know, a tablespoon. I actually just take a swig of the bottle, to be quite honest. And I let my body guide me as to if I just want a little bit or if I want to have a lot. So these are two options that have helped me immensely. Funny, the brain getting the things back to front. Oh, Sandy, thank you for asking a question. I'll come to that in just a minute. So if you're in Australia, I do sell these products. If you're anywhere else in the world, Jigsaw Health have stockists around the world where you can get products. And there's another very good brand, Rosita's. It's probably a level up from this. Actually, it's not probably, it definitely is. Rosita's is the gold standard of cod liver oil. I don't stock that particular one at this stage. It's a bit more expensive, but you need less of it at a time to get the same amount of retinol. So, you know, do what works for you and what you need. So, Sandy said, is 1 teaspoon a day all that is needed? So, let me read the back of this particular bottle. It says 1 teaspoon is the equivalent of 1100 micrograms, which is just over 3,600 international units. So within the RCP, from memory, we're aiming a bit higher than that. So for this particular brand, you'd probably be looking at a bit more than a teaspoon. And I tend to be more towards a tablespoon, to be honest, but I don't necessarily have it every day. So I don't always remember it every day, and I go off how I feel. So if you were doing it consistently daily, a teaspoon is a great start, or a great, see how you go. But I'd get curious and see, how do I feel with having a bit more than a teaspoon, or using a larger spoon and half filling the tablespoon, or whatever. Experiment with what feels good, because everybody's needs will actually vary on how much they need at any given point in time. And if you've got lots of stress happening, if you've been unwell, you may need more. You might need it to help you recover and that sort of thing. So just see how you go. Penny asked, under what conditions would more cod liver oil be indicated than what the RCP calls for? Again, this is where I call on our own intuition with it. Ones that jump out at me are, if someone's sick, definitely. If you're already getting sick, have some extra cod liver oil. It can be a really good way to prevent you getting fully sick, or severity might be reduced. If you are immune compromised, you more than likely need more of it. But again, I wouldn't hyper focus just on cod liver oil. I would be supporting your body across a number of things that I talk about in my other posts and my other videos. So whole food vitamin C, very important, magnesium, adrenal support through things like the adrenal cocktail and so on. Beef liver, especially particularly grass-fed beef liver, very important part of the routine for my family and what I encourage clients to consider as well, because it's across the board. You need that nutrition from multiple angles rather than just one concentrated nutrient. So cod liver oil is not going to be your be all and end all that saves everything, but it's part of the picture. So what other, if you've got connective tissue issues, if you have just trying to think where particularly thyroid, if your thyroid doesn't work well, then you may want to vary how much. But I will put a caveat with all of these suggestions. It's so individual what people need, and if you've got a histamine intolerance, you may not feel great suddenly jumping into a teaspoon of this, of the liquid, or multiple of the soft caps. So with anything that I encourage people to explore adding to their routine, I'd always start with a small amount, and it might be as little as just like a quarter of a teaspoon if you're using the liquid, just a little bit, to see how you go. Let your body ease into it, because while more can seem like a great idea at the time, your body needs to be able to process it and utilize it. So sometimes that can take a little bit of time to get adjustment happening. So rule of thumb I encourage people to do is every 5 to 7 days you either increase or adjust things, and try where you can. And we're only human, so don't beat yourself up when you do multiple things at once, because we're all guilty of this. And that's just do one new thing, or adjust one new thing every 5 to 7 days, and learn to listen to how your body feels. Learn to adjust it. Yes, it's going to take a lot of time to introduce things, but in the scheme of things, the gains that you have by giving your body time to ease into something or adjust into a new thing or a newer amount, it will pay off, rather than the confusion that happens from adding 3 things at once, feeling amazing, and then your body reaches capacity and suddenly you don't feel so well, and then you're going, but is it 1, 2 or 3 that's causing that? So definitely go easy on yourself there. I don't think there's any other questions. So if anyone has any other questions, I'm going to wrap this up in a minute. So please feel free to ask away before I finish. But if you come and you're watching the recording, pop on and put a comment that you're watching the replay, and add any of the questions that you wish, and I will come back and add them. So I don't think there's any other questions, so I might wrap this up. Thank you, everyone. It's been great to share with you some options to help get cod liver oil into your family, and some of the benefits that it can give. There's so much more. So keep reading, keep watching, and if you want more resources to learn more, then just reach out. Oh, you just got in time, Penny. Nordic Naturals is being deleted from a recommendation because it doesn't actually have almost any retinol in it, the vitamin A, and it's got no vitamin D in it. And we don't do the cod liver oil for the vitamin D content that's in there, but it's an added bonus for many. Vitamin D is naturally made by the body with retinol being present, as I mentioned before, but Nordic Naturals they process it so much, there's next to nothing in it. So you're paying for a whole lot of not much, in my opinion. So wouldn't waste your money. You're better off spending more to buy the Jigsaw or the Rositas and using less than you are to use the Nordic Natural product. It just doesn't provide the nutrients that the other two do. So even if you use a large amount of it, it will end up costing you way more, and you still don't get those nutrients. So just be aware. All right, I think I've covered everything. Thanks, everyone. See you later.